Hey, AC here. Welcome to Bit Seizure. Now this is somewhat of a take two for me. I made an unpacking video with all my new games after I just recently returned from Japan for a wedding and some shopping. Now that video turned out to be in 3 parts, bizarre and kind of not worth putting on YouTube, which is bizarre, but even our channel has standards. So I thought I'd lay all my games out on the table and we can go through them now. First of all, I'll give you an overview. So all the stuff I managed to fit back in my suitcase. So I'll just go through each and everything. And that music you're hearing is the Nintendo Famicom music, which is pretty cool. Comes on a 2-disc set. Great for background music. I just stuck it on in the background while I was doing this video, making it difficult for you to hear and difficult for me to concentrate. It's 2 CDs. One side is Famicom, and the other side is the Famicom Disk System, so it has all these great first-party Nintendo games. Anyway, enough of that. First of all, I got a Virtual Boy. The best thing about this Virtual Boy, it doesn't work. This is actually the X-Display model for Super Potato, the retro gaming store in Akihabara and Ikebukuro and Osaka. I went to all 3 of those stores. So I've opened it up and had a bit of a look around. There's obviously a scratch on the lens there. I can't figure out what's wrong. Some games, one side will work, the other side it won't work. The controller, it obviously doesn't come with a stand. The controller does work, but it doesn't come with a battery pack. However, I do have a an AC adapter coming, which is good, in the box that I sent myself. So let's go to PC Engine games. I got Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. How does this work? When there's only 2 buttons on the PC Engine? I have no idea, but the cart itself is somewhat unique in the fact that it's elevated a little bit there. I did try and play it, and you can just punch and heavy punch, and that's it. Alright, I also got Wallaby. I thought this would be like some kind of weird shooter, or at least some kind of weird RPG. It turns out you gamble on the Wallabies racing, so that actually kind of sucks. It's like the worst of all possible worlds. This is an interesting kind of platformer. Yokai Dochuki. The platforming bits are great until you get to these bits that I don't understand, where you kind of have to pray to a deity and they kill you. It's weird. R-Type 1, classic shooter. Bomberman 93. It's Bomberman and really cool. Game of Life. Now, I actually record all my games on a spreadsheet. I didn't record this one, because this is shit. Alright, Cybercore, another shooter. Actually quite good, lots of fun. Now, here we go. 2 games that every PC Engine should own. PC Engine, or Bonk, and PC Engine 2. Now, first one, fantastic. Second one, I cannot get to work. And I've cleaned it. I've cleaned the inside of the PC Engine. I don't know what it is, but this cart just does not work, which is such a shame because I think it's a great game, if short. Right, here we have, you can see my reflection, a Game Boy Light, only released in Japan. Not only that, this one is in impeccable condition. You can't really see the light aspect there, but it's in really good condition and there are no scratches on the screen. Next, a 3DO game, the only 3DO game I got this time, which was Demolition Man. I've heard bad and good things, but mostly bad, which makes me think that it'll be fun. I got 2 PS1 games. Gun Bullet, which is Point Blank, and Tetris X, which is kind of like Tetris Battle Gaiden. You have kind of characters who can influence the other person's Tetris game with magic and the like, which is pretty fun. Next, I got a working Famicom disk system. I now have 2 of these. My plan is to implant the insides of this one into the Sharp Twin Famicom. So then I'll have a Famicom with easy access AV with Famicom games and Famicom disk system games, which will be cool if I can pull it off. Another Japan-only release, not a retro game, but a present for my co-pilot Rob, which is Pure Tetris. My wife got the Vita version of this and has been addicted. She's been playing it for 5 days straight. Okay, next we have a Club Nintendo kind of possible rarity, Pac-Man Versus. Now I don't know if it's the full game or if it's just a demo. At the bottom it says soft demo movie down here, so I have no idea what that means. Have to give it a try. Luckily I do own a Japanese GameCube. This is a Sega MyCard Pitpot. The picture there makes it a lot more exciting than it actually is. I haven't tried it yet on a Master System because I would need to configure a Master System 1 for NTSC out, and not even then I'm sure if the cards would work. But I'm going to give it a try, see what happens. Land of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse for Game Gear. Pretty cool game. Now, these 2 are kind of unique. These are Game Boy memory cartridges, so you could actually bring these along to certain game shops and they would fill up the slots here with games. This one has Konami Collection 2, this one has Rockman World 3. I also got Rockman X for Game Boy Color. I now have 1 and 2. Koro Koro Kirby, Roll Kirby I suppose that would mean, for Game Boy Color, kind of cool pink card. I got a X Terminator, which is like a cheat kind of device for the Game Boy. I haven't really tested it out yet, but I know it does work because I plugged it in and games played through it and I had options. That's pretty cool. Now, what I think is actually the first portable PlayStation, which is the Pocket Station, or PlayStation Pocket. But only compatible with a few games. And it does work. I don't think that's the time right now, but it might be. Anyway, what happens is you can, it acts as a memory unit. You can plug it into your PlayStation 1. Kind of similar to the Dreamcast controller. I got 2 Neo Geo Pocket games. I got Card Fighters, SNK versus Capcom. And I got King of Fighters R2. This is actually a really fun game. Now, let's see. For the Super Famicom, I got the Sufami Turbo with Ultra Battle, which is an Ultraman game, kind of obviously, I suppose. Kind of interesting device here. I've only got the 1 game for it, and I know there are others, just not many others. I got a Japanese exclusive Mickey's Great Adventure in Tokyo Disneyland. I think that roughly translates to. This is interesting because it comes in like basically like an oversized cassette tape kind of cover that you would get for old cassettes and photocopied instructions. This was obviously from a Game Soft Recycle shop. So, pretty cool. Now, Sega Saturn. I got, actually, before we get to Sega Saturn, I should finish off the Super Famicom bit. I got Tetris Battle Gaiden, so Tetris Battle Side Story, I suppose that would mean. This has become popular with a lot of foreigners over the years because it's the Tetris where you can use magic, somewhat like Tetris X, but this is like the first version of that. In fact, it's by the same company there. The Tetris pieces come up for both of you, so the first in, best dressed kind of deal applies, and it's a lot of fun and quite addictive. Okay, next we have Virtual Fighter Remix for the Sega Saturn. It's just Virtual Fighter really. Pure 2 for Sega Saturn. As soon as I showed my wife this, she took the controller off me and I didn't get it back for another hour. Last Bronx. Now this is basically just a fighter. I had a lot of fun with this, and it comes with like the story mode and the arcade version in there, which is why it's double. And now my new crowning jewel for the Sega Saturn, the Dungeons & Dragons collection, which is a beat-em-up action RPG from Capcom. So this is got Tower of Doom, Tower of Doom, and I always forget the name of the other one, Shadow over Mystara. So both of those really good games. Okay, now on to the Famicom Disk System. Sorry about the reflection there, I'll just try and angle that away. I got Bubble Bubble, one of my favorite all-time two-player games. Fantastic, still on there, still works. Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, cool. I Am Error, let's see if that translates to Japanese. Or was an error in translation to English. Check that out later. Now this one's interesting because originally it came with, the cover said Twin B, which is kind of like a vertical shooter. Kind of imagine Fantasy Zone rather for Master System, but vertical. Wasn't actually on there though, Billiard was, and it takes both sides. And it's not a great game, so I don't know why you would overwrite Billiards over Twin B, but there you go. Another one that's been overwritten is Super Mario Brothers 2. That's right, you can just kind of see someone wrote volleyball in katakana underneath. I didn't notice that when I bought it for 100 yen, which is only like a dollar, so it's all right. But now I have two versions of volleyball. Maybe I can supplant my other Super Mario Brothers 2 into this. I'll see what I can do. This is just like a weird... Oh, I need to sit up for a second. Game. Look, it doesn't work. There's a fault on the disc. It only gets as far as the menu when you try and select anything on the menu. It kind of dies, but it's an Oni game, I suppose. Now my favorite, just the Famicom, ordinary Famicom. Okay, we have a boxed version of Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, there's no manual, and the box is damaged, but it was sealed. So obviously they reseal things and say, hey, it's sealed. It's not sealed, but I only paid like $5 for it, so not too bad at all. I've got Macross, which is like a vertical shooter. Galaxian, the arcade classic. Now this is, it's like a RPG, but scrolling RPG. And it's actually a really good game. Like, I had a lot of fun with this one. And I hate RPGs, and it's not an RPG at all. Saycross, which is kind of like a horizontal shooter, like with bikes, I suppose. Quite difficult, I kept dying. Super C, Super Contra. That's also a lot of fun. What do we have here? Red Arima 2, which is Gargoyle's Quest 2. The first one being on Game Boy. Capcom, really good, but in Japanese, so it's kind of like half action, half RPG. The RPG parts I have a bit of a problem with, but the rest of it is actually a really good game. Another rarity in the West, just not in Japan, is DuckTales 2. Woo! Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, quite rare on the NES, however, quite prolific on the Famicom, so I just got a copy to see what it's like. It's a lot of fun, but it's more of the same, basically. Here we go, Shadow Warrior 3 or Ninja Gaiden 3. That's also a lot of fun, if not incredibly difficult. Hatris. That's right, Tetris for hats, but it's more like Mario and Yoshi than anything else, and it's not a good game. It's pretty shithouse, actually. Now, Rockman, na. We have Rockman 4 and the original Rockman. Now, Rockman games are also very prolific in Japan as well. However, the first one is actually becoming more and more difficult to get your hands on. I suppose because it's the first and it's obviously the oldest. So I was lucky to find this for about $20, and I bought that kind of straight away because when you go to Super Potato now, they all say sample only, and they don't actually have copies of the original game. Probably because it's so popular and it sells out very quickly. All the Mega Man games I have are all the Rockman versions, which there's no difference, just Japanese. Here are the advertisements they give you at Super Potato when you buy something. Get your Wonder Soft World. I love retro. Yes, you certainly do, you weirdo potato. And here's a little kind of comic about cleaning your cartridges, and if you have any cartridges, then maybe you can sell them. This mentions Miss Peach World, which is a very hard to come by unlicensed game, which obviously kind of takes Princess Peach, but rather than put her in a Mario game, put her in Menace Beach or Sunday Funday, as a lot of people would know, and it is not a good game. And I kept seeing it for about $300 or the equivalent thereof. So, moral of the story is, unless you see it for like 100 yen, like $1, don't bother getting Miss Peach World. It's just Menace Beach, and that's not a good game. Here we have something kind of interesting. They hand these out in Akihabara. They're fans, because it was actually getting quite hot. This one is an advertisement for, let me see, School Idol Project. The movie. Oh god, this looks shithouse. Right, lastly, we have the Famicom Pulse titles. Now, this basically represents the very first year of first-party releases for the Famicom in Japan. So I'll go through them in order. We have Donkey Kong, good game. Donkey Kong Jr., also a good game. Mario is a bad guy in that one. Popeye, an okay game, a port of the arcade of the same name. None of these are particularly comprehensive in terms of what later Famicom games would be. They're all fairly arcadish. Gomo Kunarabe, which is basically Go, the game with the black and white pieces. Not good. Mahjong, possibly the most common game you're likely to find in second-hand stores, especially places like Hard Off. Not a good game, it's just fucking Mahjong. What do you want? The original Mario Brothers, still a bit of fun today. If only it was Mario and Mario rather than Mario and Luigi. I hate that guy. We have, and this one's an interesting one, Popeye English. That's right, so this is just an English program, learning program with Popeye in it, using the basics of the arcade. Everyone's favorite baseball, another very common game. And we have Donkey Kong Jr. Math, which was released as a black box in the as a release title for the NES. We have Tennis, and it's just tennis. Mario's in there as the referee, or whatever you call the person who sits up there on the chair in tennis. Pinball, I've never seen a really good looking pinball Pulse title. Because it's yellow, it dirties really easily, no matter how much you kind of clean it off. But it's just the same as pinball for NES. Golf, if you know our channel, you know what this game is, and you know why we hate it, or I hate it, and Rob loves it. Donkey Kong 3, not very good, actually. Not a great game at all. And lastly, we have Devil World. Now, all of these were later released with pictures rather than just the Pulse. Some people say that this game with the Pulse is rare, but it's not. I've seen it in a lot of different places. Although I'd have to say that the one with the picture is probably a little bit more common than the one with the Pulse on it. But that's the entire Pulse library for the Super Famicom. Pretty cool. Right, so thank you very much for watching. There we go. I'm AC, and that was what I got from Japan. Stay tuned, because I'm going to have a box coming with a lot more stuff, such as the Famicom 3D glasses and the Famicom modem.